Hey there, it's Tuesday morning. It's not really Tuesday morning, it's Monday, but I'm doing a couple of these ahead of time. We're at Luke 20:19 through 26. The scribes and the chief priests sought to lay hands on him at that very hour, for they perceived that he had told this parable against him, but they feared the people. So they watched him and sent spies who pretended to be sincere that they might catch him in something he said, so as to deliver him up to the authority and jurisdiction of the governor. So they asked him, "Teacher, we know that you speak and teach rightly and show no partiality, but truly teach the way of God. Is it lawful for us to give tribute to Caesar or not?" He perceived their craftiness and said to them, "Show me a denarius. Whose likeness and inscription does it have?" They said, "Caesar's." And he said to them, "Then render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." And they were not able in the presence of the people to catch him in what he said, but marveling at his answer, they became silent. So what strikes me here is the sneakiness of the scribes and Pharisees. They really want to catch Jesus to say something. If he'd said, "Oh, you don't have to pay taxes," they could have said to Romans, "Come here and get this guy. He's an insurrectionist." And if he said, "Of course you have to pay taxes," they would have said, "Aha, but the Jewish law says blah, blah, blah," and they would have got him for that. So either way. So he says, "Well, give to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, the things with his picture on them, and give to God the things that are God's, the things with his image on them." What are those things? Well, all of us. So give to Caesar the money, yeah, and give to God yourself. And nobody can argue with that. That's why they're silenced, and they're like, what can we can't argue with him, but sure doesn't make us happy. They're not happy with Jesus. That verse is where he says that, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's," that's often taken out of context as all kinds of ways, you have to obey the government. Yeah, you do. But what Jesus is really saying is what's really important are the things you give to God. And let's give to God yourself, your heart, your actions, your motives, your talents and abilities. Give all that to God and do what you can for God with all that. And then the rest of it, you'll be all right. That's what he's really saying, I think. And it's difficult to hear that, especially in a world like this one where everybody strives to be more wealthy than they are. Not everybody strives for wealth, but everybody strives to have enough and more. And that's difficult, when prices keep going up and stuff. And so it's a hard thing to do, to stay ahead of the economy. And Jesus is like, okay, give to the economy, to Caesar, all those things, and you just focus on what God demands. And what does God ask us for? Not much, just our whole being. So if you can give your whole being to God, then give the rest to Caesar. That is easy to say and very hard to do, isn't it? That's the trouble. The scribes and the priests are also, they're spying on him, they're watching him, they're trying at every moment to get him, and they can't get him, and they're getting more and more frustrated. And so then, they're just getting angry. And that's always a bad sign. when the powers that be are against you and they're starting to get frustrated, it's time to move on. Well, Jesus doesn't move on. He stays there, and they get him finally, but we'll get to that. So ponder those things and think about what Caesar demands of you. And it's not just taxes, but what Caesar asks of us, what the power that rules over us asks of us is our obedience. We have to obey all the laws, the traffic laws, and behave with each other in public and all of that stuff. You have to pay your taxes. You have to do, this and that you're supposed to do. And then, you do all that and just keep your head down like a good citizen and you'll be okay, he says. Jesus is not asking us to go out there and get into a fight with the government. He's saying, let's keep it in perspective, and what's really important is what God is calling us to do. So think about that today. What is God calling you to do finally? Have a great day.